beast has made another one.
What's going on, guys? My name is Hayden Croy. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today we're actually just going to be doing a little video talking about why you might want to buy a MK7 GTI. I know the Mark 8's already coming out, and the 7.5 has already passed, so why is this car still relevant at all? And to be quite honest, it really based off what you're looking at or what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a hot hatch style car, I mean, in my opinion, this is the best choice that there is out of what's on the market, especially as far as price range and everything like that goes. It's one of the big reasons as to why I even bought this the Mark 7, especially over the Mark 7.5, was this car's already hit its depreciation curve. So really not going to be losing too much money on this car as long as I keep the miles low down on it, and you can always take mods off and sell them later on down the road if you need to. This car, I bought it, it had 19,000 miles whenever I bought it. It's a 2017 and I paid $19,000 for it. So don't get me wrong, didn't get it for a steal or anything like that, but I definitely saved a decent chunk just by buying it secondhand. It's only had one owner and it was completely stock whenever I picked it up. So that was one of the big reasons and why I went with this car. Was didn't have to worry about it depreciating too hard. I just don't want to be making any dumb financial decisions right now while I'm only 24 years old. Just bought a house and have a lot of goals, but you know, got to take them step by step. So we went with the GTI. It's affordable for what my price range is, and it's also practical. So that's another thing. I, as you guys know, had the Ford Fusion prior, and the Ford Fusion, don't get me wrong, good car, good family car if you have children or anything like that. And but for us in particular, in my situation, I have a Great Dane mix, and he is a bit big for a little sedan. So this hatchback, you lay down the seats, it gives him a lot more space. Now don't get me wrong, it's not tall enough for him. If you got something tall or you're trying to move big furniture, it's not gonna get it done, you know. I mean, you can move in an apartment complex or something like that, but if you've got a lot of furniture, this is you're gonna need to borrow a truck, let's just say that. Give me a second here, we're rolling up to some traffic. But other than that, what's another reason? Let's see here, I've got some things written down here if you just bear with me. But so also the driving experience. I came from a Ford Fusion. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad driving car. I tuned it and did a few things to it here and there, lowered it, widened out the wheelbase and everything, but in the end it wasn't a driver's car. The GTI is built for drivers. It's always has been, and they haven't changed that, especially not in the Mark 7. So that would have been another reason as to why I got it. Also, going back to practicality, it is a front wheel drive car, which some people say front wheel drive is the wrong way drive, but either way, it is very practical. It gives you better gas mileage, you good in the snow, all that. Now don't get me wrong, whenever this car is stage 2 tuned, if you're gonna be driving around in the winter or in the snow or anything like that, you're gonna want winter tires. I'm driving on summer tires right now, and I'll tell you, if it's raining, you can't give the car more than 10% throttle. It's gonna spin you out all the way up until 5th gear. So just keep that in mind. But as long as you pair it with the right set of rubber, you should be absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about there. So that's another thing as to why to get this car. I mean, don't get me wrong, you throw a good set of rubber on any front wheel drive car, it'll get you point A to point B, but it won't give you the good driving experience whenever it's not out there snowing and stuff and you want to have a little bit of fun on the back roads, and this car can do that for you. Also, community around this car, it's great, it's huge. GTI's been around forever, and everyone recognizes them, whether or not they think it's a Golf or Golf R or GTI. Doesn't matter, everyone knows what a VW Golf is, okay? So everyone knows the GTI. I mean, we've got a ton of support to the point where, I mean, Corbeau has specifically made seats just for us in our community. So I mean, that's just awesome right there in and of itself. And also along the lines of that, the potential modding capability for these cars is great. I mean, I came from American made Ford, where you throw a stage 1 tune on a Ford you're gonna gain 25, maybe 35 horsepower. I mean, it's not gonna be killer by any sort of means. So with this car, you throw a stage 1 tune on, you're gaining, what is it? I think they claim like 80 horsepower or something like that. I personally never went stage 1. I went straight to stage 2 within about a week of buying this car. Already had it planned out. I ordered the downpipe the day I went to go look at this car because I knew I was going to pick it up. I had already looked at a few and I was just waiting to find that perfect one. I wanted the base model, didn't want the sunroof, didn't want to have to worry about any of that squeaking or anything like that. Just have heard bad things about people with the sunroof and have had bad experiences there. So I strayed away from it. I'd had a sunroof in every other car that I've owned. I believe this is my 5th car now, and you really don't even notice it, to be quite honest. I didn't use my sunroof back whenever I had them very much, but actually, hang on, let me shut up for a second, let you guys hear this. A little bit of pops for you right there on that little bridge. But let me see. Well, losing my train of thought over here, guys. Keep with me. Potential modding capabilities. My bad. Yeah. So back to the potential modding capabilities. With this car, I went straight to stage 2. Went with Unitronic stage 2. Forgot to say that, but Unitronic stage 2 gained like 100 and something horsepower right off the rip and over 100 foot-pound of torque's what they claim. And I know their charts might not be on the dot, but I tell you, it feels like it. It feels like you gained a ton. And that's just with a few little inlet pipes and turbo muffler delete, catless downpipe, and full 3-inch turbo back exhaust. But even with all that, and also as far as airbox goes, no cold air intake right now. I'm thinking about doing an open box air intake, just going with the new APR open intake. And I know technically closed intakes are better for power, but quite honest with you, I just want to hear that spooling noise a little bit more. But at the meantime, just have snow guard removed with a K&N drop-in high flow intake or filter, whatever they call it, you know, and rocking with that. And I mean, even with that, you get some good induction noises. You definitely can hear it, but I wouldn't mind hearing a little bit more, if you know what I'm saying. So all of that being combined, and I would say, in my opinion, the GTI is a perfect car if you are trying to get into modifying cars. You are somewhat on a budget because the parts, don't get me wrong, you can spend a decent amount on some parts that you don't necessarily have to though. So there's a wide market out here for the GTI. You guys can, everyone that's done research for it, I mean, you can testify even a downpipe. You can spend $1,000 on a downpipe, or you can spend $100 on a downpipe. Really depends on what the quality is that you want to go for and everything in goal. You want to always have your end goal in sight and already have a plan of what you want your build to come out as before you start just throwing things on. So even if it might take a while, you wait that time and it'll be worth it down the road. So all of that, I personally think that the GTI is the best car for someone looking into getting into modifying cars. And I mean, also, you don't have to be looking into getting modifying cars. These cars are great for even if you do know a lot about modifying cars. You can save a lot of money and you can do a lot of the work yourself. It's there's tons of videos and tutorials about these cars all over the internet because of our community being so large that it makes almost anything possible for these cars. So if you're interested in buying a Mark 7 GTI, this is the reasons why I personally think the Mark 7 GTI is a great car for the money, for the value, for the driving experience, for everything combined. Mark 7 GTI, wonderful car, and I personally don't have any negatives to take away from it. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't owned this car very long. It is my first Mark 7 GTI, but I've absolutely fallen in love with it in just the 4 months of ownership that I've had. Now, I've done a lot of work to it already. We've put a decent amount of money into this thing, and it's absolutely been worth it. Everything that I've done to this thing has shown improvements, and whether or not it's aesthetically or if it's within how the driving experience is, everything adds up to just make the perfect package with the Mark 7 GTI. But you know, I'm gonna go in and stop talking for now. I'm gonna throw some clips into the car, just a little walk around, you know, little cinematic shots here and there, and you know, just let me know what you guys think in the comments as far as what you like about the Mark 7 GTI, if you have one. If you don't and you're looking into getting one, what sparks your interest about them? I mean, why do you guys, what is it that entices you to get the GTI? I know what it was for me. I wanted a better driving car, a better driving experience, and not only that, I wanted a strong community behind it. I'm someone that's new to getting into cars, and with that, a community is one of the biggest things that can help you out. If you don't have any questions, or if you have questions, you can always just reach out and ask somebody. And for instance, the OBD11, there's people all over the area that if you have a Volkswagen or Audi or anything like that and you need help with OBD11, a lot of people are there that'll just help you out. For instance, it's like I helped out somebody not too long ago at a just random small car meet. And I happened to have a bunch of credits on my OBD11 because I had gotten the Pro version back on Black Friday, and it just works out, you know. So sometimes you can just help each other out here and there, and everyone's always lending a helping hand is what I've come to realize. So it overall is an absolutely amazing community. It's a great car, and I absolutely recommend it.
You